Now, next, Big Mike, I wanted to ask you about this, man. Now, there's a comment that's been coming up a lot, and I like to each interview bring up a comment that's popular, and then ask you a question about it. Now, there's a comment that's been coming up about KTS Dre. Now, and your past with KTS Dre. Now, they're saying that you had a history with KTS Dre and that you guys had a fight while locked up. Now, what is the story behind this whole KTS Dre situation?
The KTS Dre situation was, we was locked up. He ended up landing on my deck. I knew him. I mean, I knew of him, but I didn't know him. But when he came on the deck, you know what I'm saying, they was telling me where he was from and stuff like that. It was something over there that was trying to hide from him. He didn't want to come out the cell or whatever, whatnot. But we ended up going to, I want to say I was going to law library or something like that. And one of the guys, they had seen me in the line. They there from Front Street, seen me in the line. And he was like, man, you up there with that? I'm like, up there with what? And he was like, man, that's supposed to have something to do with Cap getting killed. So I was like, who? He was like, man, Andre. I was like, that got the bullet stuck in his face? He like, yeah. He like, man, beat him. So as we coming through the line, everybody like, man, you better get that nigga off that deck. So we got back on the deck. Went in the showers, we bumped. But it's like after we bumped, it's like he became cool. Like, you feel me? He was like, dude was a cool. He was cool. Besides that, he was a op to some that my block was fucking with. You feel me? But besides that, like also, like as a man, like you sit down and have a conversation with him like that. He was cool. So it was like we got cool. You know what I'm saying?
Now, that's an interesting take than a lot of the things that we've seen. You know, that's usually not the norm, right? Yeah. Because when it comes to KTS Dre, his story is crazy because, you know, he's been into it with G Herbo and them, you know, and Cairo and them's black for, I guess, forever before he lost his life, right? Now, in the midst of all that, he had his own series where he was going around on social media and basically finding members of NLMB and punching them. And famously, he was the guy who was in the video punching Cairo in the McDonald's. Now, after that situation, it felt like he had put so much heat on himself, you wouldn't see anybody who would get near him besides his people. And eventually, a lot of his people started dying off, until eventually he was caught and he lost his life after trying to leave, after leaving jail. But before him leaving jail, were you in the jail with him during that time?
During that? No. Not during that time, no.
Okay. So yeah, because at that time you were already in prison, right?
Yeah, but what I heard was when he found out that he was being released for bond, he got on the phone and got to talking to people. Whole time, he not paying attention to what's going on the deck. So now you got ops on the deck. Somebody done jumped on the phone and probably done told him, he just bonded out. He finna be leaving up off, he'd be probably up out this like 3 hours. It don't take that long to get to 26 in California. Flew down there and called him. Gotta be careful with what you're doing especially when you one of those type of threats. You gotta be careful with what you're doing, man. For real. And he was a real threat.
And it seems like, just looking at him, KTS Vaughn and KTS Dre, and their actions online, if there was ever a definition of a Chirac savage, I would say they fit the mold. Just from their Instagram pages to everything. Like, it's almost chaotic to watch like what they had on social media. And a lot of people were wondering how they lasted as long as they did.
Man, cause you ain't had people who had the balls to go up against them. People were scared. You know what I'm saying? How can you ever go on offense when you always on defense? You always on defense. This man steady coming through here. Like, You know he was a real problem, or they would have never pumped that many bullets into that man's body. They put too many bullets into that man's body for it to just be, oh yeah, we just caught one of the niggas from over there. No, that was we just caught that. That's that. That's what they wanted. That's what they wanted, man. They was scattered, dude.
Now, what do you think about the fact that they didn't even care about the fact that he was outside of the police station? Like he ended up getting shot 64 times according to the reports.
And right outside of the Cook County jail.
Or outside of the jail, excuse me, you're right.
That's how you know he was one of those. Ain't no way I'm coming down to 26th of California, right outside the Cook County jail, to shoot somebody 64 times if they wasn't a real problem.
Yeah.
When that happened, that shocked me. I was like, outside the county? 64 times?
That's freaking crazy, bro.
They wanted it.
And they said, I guess a grandma or somebody was there to pick him up or something like that.
Yeah, they said it was a lady with him. I think she got struck in the leg.
Yep, exactly. Yep. That's what the news, I think even the news reported that.
Yeah.
What, like, people, like, when you talk about people who are notorious as far as their online personalities in Chicago drill culture, King Von being one of them, KTS Dre being another, 051 Melly, guys like that, right? But when it comes to KTS Dre, it just seemed like it was all savagery and stuff like that. Now, when you were in the tank with him, or not even the tank, you were in jail with him on the deck, y'all got into y'all fight. Did you peep any of that in him?
Well, like that. No, I already knew what was going on. Like and then you could tell, man. You could tell. Like before I even knew that he was like really terrorizing, like how he was. Like you could kind of tell, like he wasn't scared of nothing. When he came on the deck, he knew he had the bump with. He was gonna bump with you, win, lose, or draw. He was a cool dude, man. Oh, bro, he was a cool dude, man. You wouldn't even like. How everybody, like, you just see what's going on the internet. So you see him, he had Cairo and them up in McDonald's. You see shit like that. So you see this is a menace. The man had a bullet and stuck in his nose. You feel me? So you looking at this dude like this is a menace, but whole time you sit down and have a conversation with him. In jail, that's all you can do is have a conversation. You having a conversation with him, you feel me? Damn, whole time, this cool as hell, folks. It be like that.
It makes you wonder, how did somebody get to that point? You know what I'm saying? Because you said he had I always thought that was a broken nose that never healed right. You said it's a bullet that was lodged in there.
Yeah, they said he told me he had a bullet lodged in his nose. Bro. It was stuck like right here.
Yeah, and in the pictures, it does look like it always moves, like depending on what, when the picture was taken. So it probably was the bullet lodged there. That's crazy, bro. Like, I don't know. He's a wild looking guy too. So was there any, like on the deck, were people afraid of him, or was it just like, it is what it is?
No, it was only one over there that was scared of him, because when he came over there and he seen dude, he was telling him like, yeah, we got a bump, bro, we out the bound. So now dude trying to get help. So he get to call him off, oh, that's one of my ops. That's one of my ops. Cause he looking for help now. He looking for one of his homies that he'd have met up in the jail to try to help him fight the nigga, you feel me? Because he's scared. The nigga didn't even come out his cell.
Now in the picture with Oda, I don't want to skip by that part. So the guy wouldn't come out of his cell
to
fight KTS Dre?
Yeah, he wasn't coming up out that cell.
What?
Hell no, he was. And I gotta give it to him, he was smaller than Dre though. He was small.
And I was just about to say that, because based on, like, when you seen the McDonald's video with KTS Dre and Cairo, it looked like he was way bigger than Cairo then. And Cairo looked like he was maybe 16, like a youngster. You know what I'm saying? Like, he looked way bigger than Cairo then, so I could only imagine years later. You
Yeah,
know?
Dre was kind of hefty. He was kind of decent. So I get that. You know what I'm saying? I get why Shorty really ain't want. I mean, I don't get. You gonna have to beat my ass. But I get why Shorty ain't want to come up out that cell though. He looked at it. He knew the situation and he know who he dealing with. So he like, hell no, I'd rather not deal with the situation. So he tried to get my homie. He tried to get my homie Lero to fight. I'm like, man, what the hell? It's crazy. But then him and Lero became homies. See how that be working? Like, when you sit down to have conversations with people, y'all might look at this person ain't shit. It's all we know about them. You sit down to have a real conversation with somebody, not like just like on no bullshit, like a real conversation on some man shit. He was a cool dude.
Really, man. That's wild. That's going to trip people out because, you know, the general consensus around KTS Dre is like, yo, all right, some people just, it seemed like, you know, they run into their destiny early or when it's supposed to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, dude it seemed like just a legit terror for no purpose at all, you know?
That's what I'm saying, because that's all you see. That's all you being shown until you behind closed doors, you feel me? Like, you really see who that person is. Like, his brother know who he really is because he around them when ain't nobody else around. Who you is ain't nobody else. When ain't nobody else around, you ain't gonna see that because this the streets. He don't want to come out and show that. On the streets, he's a terrorist. So when he's in the streets, he gotta be on terror mode 24/7. He can't show no love for it or none of that. You never know when that man go in the crib, he probably take a load off like, man, I made it home today. You know what I'm saying? People don't be knowing what be going on. Like, you gotta sit down and talk to people, bro. Like, everybody be thinking like that person ain't number problem, that person ain't number problem, that person ain't number problem. Then you sit down and have a whole conversation with that person and it change your mind and you shocked like, damn, because you judging the book by its cover.
That's true. And life seems to work out that way with a lot of people.
It do, because what image that these people put on the internet about you, that's the image you gonna have. They not gonna see like the good shit, you feel me? And ain't nobody got time to be trying to prove to nobody who they really is as a human, as a regular person, you know what I'm saying? Without the street and all that bullshit, you feel me? Like the real person, like that's all it take for them to do. You sit down and talk to somebody, you'll know a lot, bro. You'll be like, damn, I ain't even know, damn.